Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology and welcome into the Vinyl Nation. All right, tonight this is going to be fun because we're going to be taking a look at something we haven't even played with in quite a long time. That is my very early 60s RCA tape cartridge system. If you missed that video, you're in luck because tonight I'm going to go over what it is, why it's special. As you can tell by the thumbnail, it's very unusual looking. It's a failed format and that's always fun. Well, we've got a fully functional one with an interesting story and some new, that's right, new tapes to listen to on it. You're not going to want to miss this. All right, guys, and here it is. This is the RCA Victor tape cartridge system. This particular one is from 1961 or 1962, I believe. If you want to see more, including a teardown where I take this thing apart, actually not this unit, but one of these apart, check out our channel. Just search RCA tape cartridge. You'll find the videos we've done on this system. Only a couple videos, and it's been quite a while, so I thought it would be a good time to bring it out and demonstrate it again. Partially because a brand new tape just came out. Yes, I'm not joking. A brand new tape was just released a couple of days ago, and I have an advanced copy. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that. Okay, so the essence of this system, and there are various versions, of course. There's wooden cabinet ones. There's these plastic portables. There's stereo ones. There's mono ones. But the idea was in the late 50s that RCA Victor, and it is cool that it's branded RCA Victor. I think that's cool. They're like, you know what? There's a market for tape that's not being fully exploited, and that is people that want to listen to tapes but don't want to mess around with, handling the tape, threading it. It is a pain. It's harder to do than playing a record. It remains that way. And their idea was, let's put the tape into a cassette shell, a cassette type shell. See where this is going. Philips with their compact cassette nailed it, later on in the 60s. But RCA is like, you know what? They were one of the first ones to realize that there's a need for that, where we can take, lid just comes off, it's a plastic shell. We can take tape, and in this case, it's 1/4 inch reel-to-reel, high quality tape, high fidelity tape, and we'll put it in a cassette tape and it'll be easier. People will like it that way. Kids can use it. In fact, they show kids, I believe, utilizing this in the advertisements. You can go on YouTube and see a bunch of ads. And at first glance, you may be looking at this and thinking to yourself, wow, that looks like it probably plays a compact cassette type of tape. So let's take a look at one of the tapes. Here it is. And even at first glance, you may be saying, yeah, it looks, I think you just got like an early kind of old-fashioned cassette tape. Well, this would only be that if somebody, and I've used this analogy recently, but it's so good. If somebody was having like a fever nightmare about what a compact cassette looked like and it was bigger and uglier than they remembered. Basically, this is huge. I mean, you could fit probably, 3 compact cassettes. I should have one here as a visual aid, but I don't. It's much larger. It's about 7 inches long. It does have 1/4 inch tape in it instead of 1/8 inch tape, like a compact cassette. But the idea is that you can very easily thread your tape. We just did it with one hand right there. So that's the big draw. That's the big draw, that you can easily put tape on versus threading it and making sure it's in there right, and all this stuff. And that's a valid thing that people wanted to do. But this was a pretty expensive system and there were some limitations. So I wanted to talk about the history of this particular one. It's got an interesting backstory really quickly here. So basically what happened is I stumbled upon a white version of this. In fact, it was a stereo one locally here in the Denver market a 1.5 years or so ago, and didn't know much about it. I had seen Tecmo did a video about it, of course. He's done a video on everything before I do. And mostly, there's a couple things I beat him to the punch, but most of the time he's got me beat. Anyway, I found the stereo one and I picked it up for like $30. And I was blown away. It was cool. It didn't quite work, had some issues. And my friend Fardamark was like, whoa, you found the dream unit that I've been looking for. I'm like, what? He's like, those are rare. The stereo ones are rare. Most of them are mono, like this one. And he's like, I got a deal for you. And at the time I was looking to get into reel-to-reel tape, which is kind of what drew me to this to begin with. He's like, I've got a reel-to-reel tape machine, which was the Sears. That's a separate story for a separate day. And I'll send you that and my mono RCA Victor RCA cartridge system as a trade for the stereo unit, which, by the way, except for being white, looked pretty similar to this. There was this lid, instead of just being a hollow piece of plastic, had a speaker in there, and it was more substantial than this. And the idea is you could set this speaker up to be the left channel or the right, and this would be the other one. And that was virtually it. They were very, very similar. This is a one-channel version. They'll still play back stereo tapes. But yeah, I said, yeah, let's do that. I'll do that all day. That was cool. You know, because it's not like I'm going to use this as like a main hi-fi unit. To me, just having one to demonstrate with you guys and to have one that works. And that was the other thing, is that he had restored it, unlike the one that I had found, which needed restoration. The one caveat was that this unit could not record. But again, I did not feel that I was going to do a bunch of recording. And anyway, he was going to make tapes for me because he had that ability. So yeah, it was pretty simple. As you can see on the side here, everything's mono, mic input, output, speaker on and off switch, the volume knob, which the actual knob likes to pop off. So it kind of supposed to look like that. And, you know, he's got this thing up and working as a playback device. And that's pretty much all there is to it. He made me a tape, too, when he gave it to me. I was like, this is awesome. Fardamark Records. This is so cool. And we're going to listen to some of this stuff, too. We're not just going to be talking about it. So, yeah, it does use 1/4-inch tape, just like reel-to-reel tape. Now, one of the limitations of making a cassette-based reel-to-reel tape format was the fact that at the time, in the late 50s, you know, professional tape was still being recorded at 15 and 30 inches per second in the studio, usually usually a half-inch 3-track tape. So the formulation of the tape itself wasn't up to par to be played at slower speeds or to be recorded and played back with high fidelity at slower speeds. So RCA, in addition to inventing the format, the machine, etc., was able to formulate tape that formulate. Is that a word? They were able to create a mixture for tape that allowed it to be played at 3 3/4 inches per second. And that's what speed this runs at. So instead of having to be 7.5 inches, which at the time was the minimum for quality sound, they were able to do it at a slower speed, half of that, 3 3/4 inches per second. So that's what this is. Same speed, by the way, as an 8-track. And it sounds fantastic. The demos of the stereo units are absolutely fantastic. So let me kind of give you a little bit of info on this system. Let's zoom in here and look at the tape mechanism. So it's very similar. I mean, this is the same components that would become standard in tapes and tape players for years and years to this day. You've got the erase head, you've got the record play head, and you've got a pinch roller. This thing could even play reel-to-reel tapes with a special adapter that would allow it to fit onto here. The one weird thing, though, between this and a reel-to-reel tape machine is that the tape is played on the outside of the tape. If it was a reel-to-reel, typically the heads would be facing down, so it'd be playing the other side of the tape. So if you're spooling tape for this, you have to spool it onto the hub, the adapter hubs, backwards. But again, I don't really have a desire to do that. Now, I want to start by playing this tape. This is a Bel Canto demo tape, a reproduction of it, but it has the original audio. This is the same demo that Techmoan, Matt, used in his video. Bel Canto was a competing unit. It wasn't RCA Victor, but they had a fantastic demonstration. So let's start by playing the beginning of that. I'm going to get this all hooked up. It does come with a mic, the AC power cord, which even the power cord is cool, guys, because look at the branding on the power cord. It says RCA. That's awesome. And again, if you want to go into the excruciating details of this and look inside, check out our other videos. Mostly I just want to kind of give an overview of it, and we will listen to some tapes. So let me get it hooked up and we'll give it a listen. Okay, so again, this is the basic mono version. It does have the ability to record, assuming that the coil for the record head wasn't broken. Basic transport, stop, rewind, play. It's got this track select here, so depending on how the track is laid out, There is a cathode ray tube, which is not coming across on camera right now as well. Let me zoom in and turn the light out so you can see that. This is a beautiful fluorescent light, and it functions as a VU meter, which is really, really cool. It comes in from the sides, which is awesome. I love this 50s styling on this sort of metal inset here. You can operate, like I was saying, in 3 3/4. You can even go down to 1 7/8. That will be with marked performance drop. So here it is, guys. Let's enjoy this tape.
Now can we record stereo on the Bellomatic tape cartridge recorder?
Tape it easy. Come on back to the machine. Over here. And when the tape comes to an end, watch it stop automatically. To remove the tape cartridge, turn the operating control to stop. Turn the cartridge over, and then get ready to make your own stereo recording. Connect the microphones to the record inputs on back of the machine. Press the little red button and turn the operating control to play.
Uh-oh, almost forgot. Turn the speaker switch on the back panel off when making a live recording, and adjust your recording volume with the left and right volume controls. For best results, refer to your instruction manual. Now, get set to tape it easy with the Bellomatic tape cartridge recorder.
The new easy way to record stereo on the tape you never have to touch.
So when you're rewinding it, if you turn the volume up, you hear this sound. It doesn't shut it off, which is kind of funny. It's also completely vacuum tube operated. There's no transistors in this thing, which is amazing. Tape, in my personal experience, is just higher maintenance. It's higher maintenance. There's so many things that can go wrong with it. A record player, in comparison, is so simple. It's so simple, a record player, compared to a tape player, what has to happen. All right, let's listen to the beginning of this tape.
In a woman's vanity case.
Complete all-in-one stereo tape recorder.
Now we got it home.
Notice the second.
It's a little finicky. It's a little finicky.
And there's a built-in stereo amplifier and speaker in the main unit. Here, why don't you let me show you how easy it is to record stereo on the tape you've never...
So that's the gist of that demo tape. I did want to show you a couple other tapes. That was the real point of this video. By the way, you'll notice this little metal bar back here. This is a brake. There's a triangular piece of metal that is spring-loaded. So when the tape is not engaged, it presses against these reels to make sure that they don't just unspool. And then when you push the tape in, this pole back here releases that tension so that the tape can move freely. So definitely not something that you see a lot of. It's a very curious item. And I think you can see why I was okay with the mono unit, because it's not like it would be a practical, like, daily driver of any sort. But it is a fantastic teaching aid, history piece, and all that good stuff. It is a novelty for sure. But that hasn't stopped our friend Fardamark from coming out with a brand new release specifically for this format. This is Fardamark's Lounge Favorites, featuring his trademark fox character. I tried having a mascot on this channel and nobody liked it. Spinny was awesome. Rip Spinny. I love Spinny. Nobody else liked Spinny. I thought he was cool. I got to work on that again in the future. I guess that's what happens for hiring a Fiverr person to design a character. If anybody wants to design a character for the show, let me know. I would love to talk to you about that. So anyway, the size is obviously proportionate to these tapes, and he's got custom artwork. More artwork on the back. This is so cool. Some packing dust. Just fantastic. What a cool idea. Now check this out, guys. This is exciting. That's right. They made clear shell tapes for this, and that is so cool. I am very excited. I have not played this yet. We're going to listen to it. He packs these with new, modern, high-quality tape. So the tape that's in, I think all three of these is a new mixture. 50s tape typically has kind of a reddish hue to it. The oxide that they used was just a different, lower quality. This is probably high-end Maxell UD tape. So that's dark, rich formula. And again, if the machine had a couple more bugs ironed out of it, mine, then, you know, we would be able to really get high fidelity sound. It's quite amazing. You can go over to his channel too, by the way. It's just called Fardamark. And he's got some videos demonstrating the stereo unit as well. So isn't this cool? I think this is such a neat idea. Oh, this is great. On the back here, you can really see how that braking device works I was talking about. There's the metal. So when it gets pushed in, it kind of releases. There's actual teeth there. And then you push into it and it releases. So that is awesome. All right, let's get this threaded up, this new release, and we'll premiere it right here on Record-ology. By the way, if you hear the audio changes, it's because I'm bouncing back and forth between the front firing mic and the rear mic. Also, I want to just try a couple different angles here so you can see what this thing looks like from different angles. So here we go. Let's give it a play.
The sound of summer. Summer sound. 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 Summer sound.
Guys, and that's going to do it for tonight. Thank you so much for being here, for watching this video, and for supporting Record-ology by being a member of the Vinyl Nation. I very, very much appreciate it. But that's going to do it for now, guys. We've got another awesome show coming up this weekend and some cool Christmas stuff in the near future as well. You're not going to want to miss that. But that's going to do it for now. Happy record hunting. We'll see you next time.